Rob, we don't seem to be streaming. I don't know what's going on. I told it to start the broadcast, and it doesn't seem to be going out to YouTube. Are you seeing the stream?
Hang on. No, I haven't looked.
I don't know what's going on. Usually when and it's set up.
Does it light up and say go live now?
No, I'm in my StreamYard right now. It says we're broadcasting. I wonder.
Oh, let me see.
What is going on? Let me go to.
Yeah, it still says upcoming.
Right. Why is that? Huh.
Oh, we are live.
Now we are live. All right.
Hey, everybody. I guess we're live.
I don't know what was going on. Folks, can you see us? Can you hear us? Did you get all the technical difficulties? That was so weird.
Cheers to all of you.
Cheers to you. All right.
No moonshine, just water.
I don't know what was going on. For some reason, YouTube hadn't caught up to the StreamYard. So I was starting to sweat here. I've been having some technical difficulties this morning. So in the interest of making sure that we do it by the book, I'm going to go ahead and play the intro to get us started. So here we go. This episode of the MOC Squad was filmed in front of a live, members-only audience. This episode of the MOC Squad was filmed in front of a live, members-only audience. Oh my goodness, Rob! This is just.
Hey, you know, it happens.
It just happens. I am off my rocker today. I apologize, folks. We just have. I had what I thought was a malware attack earlier today, and so things are a little bit discombobulated on my end. But apologies for that.
That's where I live, man. In this perpetual state of discombobulation.
It's
all good.
Let me see if I can get the view changed here so I can. Let's see. Now both of us are showing up. See, I can't even get my green screen up and running today. Everything's a mess. So apologies. Welcome everybody to the MOC Squad, the members-only chat here on the Burnettwork. We are getting ready to allow all of our folks into the Zoom room in a second here. I just wanted to let you know Rob is on a tight deadline today to get out here by 3 p.m.
Yeah, and so we've got basically an hour and 40 minutes to chat. So know what you want to say. Keep it brief, only because Cameron, Pasha, and RM are going to review Barbie starting at 3, and she'd previously scheduled it. So I want to make sure that she gets her show as previously scheduled.
Good. And perhaps what we can do is, if you are somebody who typically raises your hand and asks questions on a regular basis, maybe let's give a chance to somebody who hasn't had a chance to go first or something, so that way, if we have to cut out early, we can give some folks who aren't usually heard a chance. So Rob, are we ready to let all of our
man, let them in?
Let's do it.
It's like the Matrix.
Here, they're all just downloading into the Matrix with us. Boom, boom, boom. Welcome, everybody.
Well, hello there.
Hello. Welcome. And like I said, we may not be able to get to everybody today. Just so you know, Rob is on a tight schedule. RM is scheduled to start at 3 p.m. And so we usually start at 11, but had to start a little bit later. So we will try to get to as many folks as possible, but do know that I'm going to have to be tighter with the time than usual. We're going to be doing 5 minutes with Rob this time around, just to kind of make sure things are flowing.
No 7 minutes in heaven this time, let me tell you.
No 7 minutes with Rob. I'm so sorry.
No. And
then let me go
which is probably a good thing.
All right, I'm gonna pin you here, Rob, so I'll make you the main star of the show, and then let's go ahead and get started with SA, who should be able to unmute now. SA, can you hear me? Can we hear you? Hello.
We can hear you now.
Hey, it's Anthony. How you doing?
Oh, Anthony's first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I somehow unmuted Anthony. Okay, well,
let Anthony. What's up, dude? No Psycho Cop 2. Let's just get it out of the way. No Psycho Cop 2 yet. But I haven't forgotten.
Okay, cool. You know, the funny thing is, I just finished watching Evil Dead Rise. Now, Rob, that wasn't supposed to be a prequel, right? Or that was just a continuation from...
I think it was supposed to be a continuation. That's how I looked at it.
Okay, yeah, because I noticed she was FaceTiming somebody at the end of the movie, and I was like, this can't be a prequel to the original series. So,
no, because I mean, what's crazy is the original movie's 42 years old this year.
It's crazy. It's been that long.
I saw it in the theater. I saw Evil Dead. I mean, it was a big deal because Stephen King anointed it like one of the greatest horror films of all time, and you know there was this mystique around it. And I went and saw it at this great soda stick, this old theater that had become it was kind of downtrodden and ratty, but it always showed great movies like Evil Dead.
Okay.
The late lamented Coliseum Theater, where I saw Flash Gordon, I saw Roller Coaster and Sense Around. That's where I saw Evil Dead.
Okay, cool. Now,
I'm excited.
Just totally random. Did you like Wall Street? Money Never Sleeps? I thought it was an outstanding movie. That it's kind of low key, like it's.
You know, it's funny that you met. I did like that. I didn't love it as much as the first Wall Street.
Oh yeah,
you know, but I liked it. It's beautifully made. It's funny. I was just thinking about that the other day, and I don't own it.
Wow.
And I was like looking through my I've been rearranging my alphabetizing my collection because we got family coming. I wanted people to be able to walk into my collection and be able to like look around and see what and I was like, I don't have Money Never Sleeps.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, that was a good film. I went to the theaters to see that. I did a double feature when that came out. I saw that and some other horror film about people being trapped in an elevator. But I thought Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps.
Devil? Was it Devil?
Was
M. Night Shyamalan Devil movie?
Yes, it was.
I liked Devil. It was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And my final question, since we limited with time today, I was going to ask you, with Superman Returns, the Brandon Routh film, what was the contingency plan if that film, do you think, would have been like a huge success? Do you think DC was prepared to start a universe, like a unified universe at that time? Because it just seemed like that was such a random film, and Batman Begins already out. It was just all over the place. Yeah,
no, there wasn't any talk of that. I mean, I worked on that movie for 2 years, and there was never. I mean, Brian had talked about doing a sequel. There was a sequel script written.
Okay.
But there was never talk of a shared universe because that movie came out pre MCU.
Right.
Iron Man didn't come out till 2008. But obviously, and Superman Returns came out in 2006. But obviously, the thought was about doing a sequel. I think they should have, but the movie just, it barely was in profitability. It was an expensive movie and didn't earn what it I think should have earned. And it's unfortunate because I think the original cut of the movie that was about 3 hours was a better version of the movie. It was a much more fulfilling, I think, more emotional experience.
Yeah.
But it was, when they had the friends and family screening, and the original cut of the movie was the first 20 minutes, no one said a word. There was no dialogue. It was Superman returning to Krypton, and they're showing it to kids in the theater, and they're like, "What is this?" Because they had no memory of the Richard Donner Superman movie. So when you see the cracked dome that opens Superman, where Jor-El is sentencing the 3 Krypton villains to Zod, Ursa, and Non, half the audience was like, "What is this?" They just didn't understand what it was. I think the audience would have eaten it up, but
yeah. It even took me a while to realize, okay, this is a continuation from the Christmas, because the Quest for Peace was, Superman 4 was such a horrible film. Making that correlation was a little bit difficult for me at first.
Yeah, and they were just making it, as if it were a sequel to Superman 1 and 2. It wasn't really clear.
Right.
I really think they needed to make it clearer. I think that was the one. If that movie has any real fault, it's that.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Have a good
one. You too, Anthony. Always good to see you.
Rob, I actually just got word from RM that she has rescheduled for Sunday. So do we want to give Anthony his extra 2 minutes back?
Sure, why not?
Unless you don't have anything else to discuss, Anthony.
No, I do have one more thing.
Go ahead.
Blue Beetle, I've already predicted in my thoughts that Blue Beetle is probably only gonna make like $15-16 million. Do you think at this point they should just put Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 on HBO Max and do like a double release with Max in the theater and just say to hell with it and just let's wait for 2025, or what do you think they should do with it?
No, I mean, first of all, Blue Beetle is tracking horribly.
Yeah.
And Blue Beetle was originally supposed to be an original streaming movie, but they put more money into it. I mean, I know they're all terrified of it, and Blue Beetle is not tracking well at all. Aquaman 2, the first Aquaman is $1 billion movie. It made $1 billion.
Yeah.
And I think people, if the movie comes out, I know that there was an article in the Hollywood Reporter this week that talked about they have done 3 reshoots with different, both Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck in the movie, and this idea that, well, we don't want to promise people look, you've already, it's all part of the same thing, you know, and now they're trying to mitigate their losses, but they've already spent all this money. I think Aquaman should absolutely be released in theaters. You don't take $1 billion franchise film and throw it away by not releasing Aquaman. Hopefully they'll pull it out, and I have faith in James Wan. I think they have to release Aquaman. Blue Beetle's a different animal. Nobody knows what Blue Beetle is, and if I've heard it's really good. Yeah. But with what's going on now, I mean, with, like we were just talking, The Flash and Indiana Jones are not just underperformers, they're true crash and burn disasters. Yeah. And I like The Flash, and to a certain extent, Indiana Jones to me was fine. I don't think the movie needed to be made, but it wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's just not the movie. Like, to me, it was like, if you're going to make an Indiana Jones movie, why make that movie? To me, it was such a weird choice to make an Indiana Jones movie that isn't joyful.
Right.
You know, when you make your main character, and this is, look, there's all this talk about how the male characters in movies and things have been emasculated, but in a certain sense, all of them in a way kind of have. Yeah. Like if you look at Picard was certainly a bitter old man in Picard seasons 1 and 2. James Bond, Casino Royale isn't, but from Quantum of Solace, you have depressed Bond over his lost lady love. Skyfall, it's not, you don't have to worry about missing a step. All these characters have been sort of defanged. And Indiana Jones, I think they went in the entire wrong direction when they reestablished his character. And it's bizarre to me. I mean, it's a bizarre situation that we find ourselves in. When you go see an Indiana Jones movie, you don't have to give him the pathos of some old man who's depressed and his students don't respect him. I mean, as I said, he should have been fucking Gandalf. You know, he knows everything. He's seen everything. He's wise beyond his years. You know, he's the kind of guy that would take peyote with Timothy Leary to open up his mind because he knows it's true. He wouldn't feel like the astronauts overshadow him. He would be the friends of astronauts. You know what's up there? I've seen it. You know, I mean, and it's such a weird, we live in a weird time where everybody feels they have to do the same shit over and over again. What would be a revolutionary act is to give us an Indiana Jones who's canonically 70 and having a really good time. Doesn't want to hang up his hat. Doesn't have to hang up his hat. But instead, let's do what they always do. Everybody's bitter. I hate that.
Thank you so much, Anthony. So, Rob, we don't have the deadline, the 3 p.m. deadline anymore. Do we want to just go back to our regularly scheduled
format,
I mean, we could. Still need to get done early.
I was kind of planning on getting done early, but now if we don't have a hard out at 3, we can stay.
We can still,
4 o'clock is the
we can fudge
latest
it
I can go.
We can fudge it a bit. So I'll still be mindful of the time, but we'll do it as regular. So we've got SA now. Sorry, SA, that I skipped you earlier. I've been having technical challenges, but welcome.
Well, you can still. I won't take up all your time, so you can still go out and party tonight or whatever.
No, it's all work today.
It's all work, no play.
No, I was at Comic-Con, did a little partying. Yeah. Got to go back to Comic-Con tomorrow morning.
Well, that was sort of my area of questioning. I noticed that the cruise director from the cruises that we've been taking, the charters, he is now at Comic-Con. So I'm like, nice. Oh my God, JT is at Comic-Con. Yeah, so they're going to have a cruise in 25.
Yeah, there's
But
going to be a Comic-Con cruise
in 25, but it's leaving from Florida. That might change.
Right.
Hopefully Florida might change. But yeah, they left all the charters like that left from California this year. So, but they're going back to Florida. So we're not going back there next year. But
I can't imagine what a Comic-Con on a cruise ship would be like.
Well, that's the first thing that, my partner here, she was said, it's like I'd rather go on a Star Trek cruise than a Comic-Con cruise, because there would be so many different things a layperson would have no idea what any of these things are. So it would be very confusing.
Well, I have to say,
I'm sure.
Well, I had a great. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
We went on the 80s cruise for 5 years straight. This is the last year that we did it, and there's extensive cosplay, and people will go so far as cosplaying like the Dire Straits video, the giant Gumby things. That was, and people do full outfits, absolutely everything. So
that's amazing.
I imagine that the comic and people like it, they get into it. The thing is very popular. So I imagine the Comic-Con cruise will be that turned up, with a little bit of Star Trek thrown in, a couple.
Well, I would just never sleep. I mean, you'd be up all night gambling and partying and being drunk, and it'd be great. I mean,
basically, yeah, that's what happened.
Comic-Con felt, even though I was only there for the day, it felt like it was 20 years ago.
Really? It looked like it. Yeah.
I mean, Todd McFarlane, somebody knew him at our table, and he just stopped at our table. I'm like, Todd McFarlane just hanging out with us for like 20 minutes?
Yeah, it looked like the vibe there was really relaxed.
It was so relaxed. It was so much fun. I was having so much fun. I normally I would stay down there, but I had to come back and do so. I had that interview yesterday that I really wanted to do on the channel, which I was very proud of. That I thought it went well.
What is the biggest? I mean, my last question. What's the biggest thing this year? I mean, other than the vibe improving with the writer's strike, with the actor's strike coming, I mean, what's this? Is it just more or less that's why it's better because it's a big hangout?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I used to go to Comic-Con, and it was about wandering around and just hanging out with friends that you only see once a year at Comic-Con, and you catch up. I mean, for me, what's really interesting is I can't even walk 5 feet without somebody stopping me and telling me they watched the show, which is really nice. It's sort of the YouTube space has, I mean, if is nothing else, I've often said that this channel is a 24/7 Comic-Con. That when I'm doing observations or something, it's like going to a panel discussion at a comic book convention or a science fiction convention. And it really has become that. And the YouTube pundit space has risen up, and people now, it's weird to think about this, but people watch YouTubers as much as anybody watches TV shows or movies. Yeah. So it's a whole different thing. And even when I even kind of get starstruck when I see somebody I watch on YouTube. I'm like, oh my God, I love your channel,
oh my God, can I have your autograph?
Yeah, I mean, but it's weird because people do, and people want to get pictures and everything. I'm like, sure, man, you want it? Absolutely. And cool. It is, and that's what I always went to conventions, because before the internet, the only place I could find people that were like-minded, that were as obsessive as I was about, let's talk about the intermix chamber on the Enterprise versus the Defiant or something, whatever. And that's what conventions were always to me. And it's great. I mean, it got back because Comic-Con got so huge. Everybody's going all over, and everybody's on these panels. You never saw anybody. You never ran in the last decade. It's been great. It's been awesome that Comic-Con's gotten so big, but there's so much going on that you never ran into your friends. You'd be there for 5 days and like, I was there the whole time, I never saw you. And normally there'd be like one place that everybody would stop by, like the bar at the Marriott. Everybody would cycle through there. You go to the Hyatt. Everyone knew that all the comic creators were at the Hyatt.
Well, so streaming that content, I really like. I think there's a lot to that. I mean, I love it. I don't know if everybody's not going to love everything that I love, but I think you're going to get a lot of pull just sitting around the table streaming stuff there. Those videos always get tons of hits. I mean, yeah, I did one. It was just such bad quality. I should have taken a microphone with me, but I didn't even think about it was so great because it was impromptu, and you got I got that everything you described to me. I got the sense of that from watching the video. Oh, it was so much fun. Yeah. I mean,
you know, and it's Comic-Con's a blast. I mean, I've had so many, and the thing is, Comic-Con, you stay up all night long. You know, you go to room parties. It's great.
Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to more, if you can, putting stuff online.
Well, yeah, no, hopefully tomorrow we'll have like an impromptu, usually after our panel, after our Starship Smackdown panel, we go to probably the Marriott bar and hang out.
Is that panel going to be, is Starships? Yeah, that one is going to be on streaming off the channel on YouTube off their channel?
I don't think so. I don't think they stream that. They should stream that panel, but I don't think they will. I don't think, you know, they've never streamed YouTube. They've never really done live streams at Comic-Con. Sometimes like Hall H or something, they might.
That's what I've seen.
I've never understood. Yeah, I've never understood that. I don't understand why all the Comic-Cons panels aren't. I mean, it would take a lot of the infrastructure to build to get all the cameras and everything.
They won't let somebody just from our channel go in and tape it necessarily.
Oh yeah, anybody can record it.
All right. Yeah, great. Yeah. So, but the Starship Smackdown is the one where the different movies come in, and then you compare who has the better starship. Like,
well, yeah, what we do is the panelists offer ships, and then we throw it open to the audience.
Yeah,
and then they throw out ships, and we get like a bracket of 16.
Right.
And then we discuss if they were to be in conflict, who would win. But it's not serious.
No.
And what was really funny was like, I'll say something like, if the Imperial Star Destroyer is against the Enterprise, I'm like, well, the Imperial Star Destroyer is full of British prig officers and clones of Tamora Morrison. The Enterprise has chicks in hot miniskirts with knee-high leather boots, so the Enterprise wins. That's the kind of logic that we use in Starship Smackdown. And it was very funny because one year we did it at the at Worldcon, the World Science Fiction Convention, and no one understood what it was. So you had people coming in with charts and graphs, and they thought we were going to be serious, and it wasn't serious, and it didn't go down very well at the World Science Fiction Convention. But you know, if you take it in the spirit it's intended, look up Neil deGrasse Tyson at Starship Smackdown on YouTube. That was the classic. That was the thing that was most amazing about Starship Smackdown.
Thank you so much, S.A. Rob, before we go to our next speaker, we got a couple of chats. Bill Barkley wants to let you know that Babylon 5 complete series finally coming to Blu-ray on December 5th.
Yes, I know, and I'm very excited. Very excited.
We got a 20-pound donation, super chat from Science Lady. Thank you, Science Lady, saying Oppenheimer was great. Came home very late yesterday. I was still awake after 2 a.m. It was also good to see so many young people at the cinema who will learn about physics. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Hollywood is not dead.
That's the one thing, listening to RM's impassioned. I was very inspired listening to her last night on Midnight Musings about how much she liked the film and what it meant to her, and I can't wait to go see it. I made the mistake of, I had tickets to go see it in Westwood at my favorite theater in 70mm on Thursday night. The problem is I had forgotten that we had a panel on Thursday at Comic-Con.
Right.
Because I think when I bought the tickets, we didn't have a Thursday panel yet. It wasn't scheduled. And then they scheduled the panel, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So, and it was at a Regal. It's at the Village Theater. It's one of my favorite theaters to see it in 70mm. I was so excited, so I couldn't go. And trying to get a ticket this weekend to any of the 70mm or IMAX screenings, they're all sold out. Right. All of them.
Yeah. I'm waiting till next week. The Hollywood Theater here in Portland is doing the 70mm screening. So.
Oh, and that theater is so great.
It's a beautiful theater. Yeah. All right, we got Aaron Singh coming up here. Welcome, Aaron.
What's going on, guys?
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, man. It's good to see you after a long time.
Yeah, it's good to see you back.
Yeah, how was Comic-Con?
It was fun. You know, it was really, I didn't even get out onto the floor, the exhibition floor, which I'll do tomorrow. I'll go take a wander around the floor because, you know, I love Comic-Con, and I can't believe it's terrifying to me that my first Comic-Con was 35 years ago. I'm like, that blows my mind.
I feel you on that.
You know, and I was 21 years old when I went to Comic-Con, and I'm just like,
so cool.
fuck.
Blaring Depeche Mode on the way, going and
oh yeah,
getting faded on the way. Yeah, totally.
That was it's. I don't know if I did. I mean, let's see, 88. I was still probably playing Black Celebration incessantly.
Oh yeah.
No. It would have been Music for the Masses, because Music for the Masses came after Black Celebration. But I loved Black Celebration. I can't believe I remember that. But
every time I've never been to Comic-Con, so every time I think about it, I think about the Entourage episode where Johnny Drama, like the star of the show, and he's talking to everybody, and Vince is like second. But I would love to go one day. But
it's amazing. I mean, it's still as much fun as it ever was, and it's a whole. I mean, what's really interesting is you could go with your best friend, and you could both have a completely different experience with Comic-Con.
That's cool.
Which is interesting. I mean, you just never know. It's what you want to do, or where you want to go, or who you want to be with. I really enjoy it. It hasn't really changed. I mean, Comic-Con's changed a lot, and then it's gotten bigger. But this year was a little bit more relaxed because not everybody's running around trying to get to panels to see their favorite TV stars because they couldn't be there.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting turn leading up to it, seeing all the studios drop out, but I think people were predicting other things, but definitely the strike is like, affecting everyone in so many different ways.
Yeah, so. And the studios too. I mean, I think things are changing. Like Sideshow, the Sideshow company, they're the American distributor for Hot Toys. They usually have a monstrously large booth at Comic-Con. They didn't this year. They forewent their booth, and it was because I think nowadays, going to Comic-Con, we now have the internet. And the one thing about the internet that the internet will never be able to replace people going to an event with a bunch of other people, celebrating their fandom, cosplaying, talking to one another, doing any of that.
No, you're 100% correct, dude. That's funny that you mentioned that, because I've been watching less movies lately and been going out more because I felt like I was kind of locked into, after COVID, just kind of this automatic come home, and I pretty much train all day. So when I come home, I'm exhausted. So usually on the weekends, I'm just watching flicks. But like the past few weekends, I've been going out in San Francisco and Oakland, been back in the punk rock scene and going and seeing shows. And actually, one of my friends, Brooklyn, was actually at Comic-Con talking to Todd McFarlane, and he has a great picture of him looking him right in the face. Like he was looking him dead in the eyes, and it looked like they were having such a great conversation. So
yeah. I want to say, I don't know who took the picture. I don't know if Julian, because Julian was kind of in it, where Todd McFarlane, I'm just leaning back and Todd McFarlane's leaning forward on the table, and I'm kind of looking up at him in awe. I put it on my Instagram. It was just funny to run into him, because Todd McFarlane's the kind of guy who'll come up and talk to everybody.
That's awesome.
Which is so great. And seeing all the comic creators, it kind of the focus went back to where Comic-Con began, which is on, comic books and things like that.
Yeah. Exactly. Tonight, actually, I'm going to be doing some photography. My friend's playing a show at Zeitgeist in San Francisco. It's just a punk club. And a little while ago, I went back to school because I'm trying to get into art school. I'm trying to get into Parsons in New York, and developing my portfolio. And I just been a photographer for so long. But tonight, I'm going to actually try to film a short film, and all on this camera right here, just this small 15 megapixel.
Oh yeah,
small, all in black and white. And it's just gonna be my friend walking through SF, falling over, drinking stuff. The bouncers messing with him a little bit. I'll even put myself in like an Easter egg standing with the bouncers or something.
Sure, that's cool.
But it's funny. For a second there, I was talking about how I stopped watching movies. It really. How we have a lot of problems with movies, and a lot of people can talk. I feel like instead of talking, I want to do what I like or what I want to see, as opposed to trying to complain so much. And I've put so much. I put so much into DC since Man of Steel. It was the first time I ever did early screenings, and really staying up to figure out what happens behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. And really, I started getting kind of sour towards the end here, towards the Flash. And watching a lot of breakdowns of like failed sequels from like Superman, for instance, and seeing how much like really the studios made Zach, even Andy, reuse stuff that they thought for a very long time now. And they made them insert things, or they might insert things on their own as well. But really, you can see some stuff like the airplane scene from Superman Returns. You know, it was in so many iterations, and I guess they pulled it from one script, right? Or it was kind of something that they were already developing. But the way they were describing it in a breakdown the other day, I was like, wow, man, this is, and so it made me go, well, you know, man, that would be a fun thing to do one day, is to create things and to put your stamp on it and to, you know, show what you want to see on screen. And yeah, I stopped talking and just started putting more into action. And it's funny, I'd never thought I would start doing film, you know, like start doing a movie, you know, and directing somebody and telling them what to do. And I was doing creative direction and mood board building, but that it's fun, but it's really fun making these short films. But yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, you got to do stuff that's fun, but it's a creative outlet. And the great thing is that you can distribute your short films via YouTube or social media, put them in your portfolio, or do whatever you want.
Yeah. So anyways, dude, I missed talking to you. And the last time I think I talked to you, I don't know if we talked about this, but you know, the plane team, for instance, I wanted to ask you how much
you mean in Superman Returns?
Superman Returns, how much were you involved with that scene? Like, how much of the background and everything did you see that them?
Oh, dude, I saw everything. I mean, I was there watching them build that gimbal. Have you ever watched my documentary on the making of Superman Returns?
I did actually. Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot. We also did vlogs about it, but yeah, that whole thing, I was there when they were shooting it. I was there when they were testing it. As a matter of fact, I was in that when they first tested the gimbal. I was in it. I was sitting there with Brian shooting. It was crazy, but I was there the whole time. And it was an amazing, that thing was unbelievable to be on that when they could shake it around. I mean, it was crazy. It was wild, man. It was really wild watching the stunt people get thrown up in the thing. It was crazy. It was so much fun though. And you know, they built that thing from scratch. It was crazy to watch them come in. I mean, that gimbal was huge, and how it worked on hydraulics and the whole fuselage of the plane. I mean, that was really amazing. It was really, and you can see it in the movie, but if you watch the behind the scenes stuff, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Aaron, it was great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I want to see the movie you made. So send me, if you put it up somewhere, I want to see what you do.
I have to check it out. I'm going to bump up our moderator extraordinaire, Tom Jr. Jackson. He's on a tight schedule and asked to be bumped up. And Tom does so much work for us here. Of course, we're gonna honor that. Welcome, Tom.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's going on, man? So am I going to yell at that dude? I'm going to yell at him.
It was weird because the guy came in last night and first of all, he said, "Oh, Rob's full of it. He doesn't know what he's talking about." And then he said something about about Lael, about the 4th of July and Lael. I'm like, are you trying to troll the chat? Because if you are, I will put you in timeout, and if you come back and keep up, I will boot you. And then Lael brought up the whole thing about the 4th. He goes, "See, I told you." And I said, please don't try to get things started in the chat like this. And the next thing I know, I see I had like a message on my messenger saying that so-and-so wants to send me a message. I'm like, I don't know who this is. And I get this message saying, you're a fat fuck of a YouTuber or something like that. And then I see on my Instagram account that's connected to my page, the one with my Funko Pop stuff, the guy wrote under Lael's name, spelt Lael wrong, and he said, "You're going to die," or something like that. And I sent them both the RM saying, "Hey, look what I just got."
Yeah, I'm
and
sorry
so,
that happened. I mean, the old adage, don't feed the trolls, but you can't deal with people that are who have a screw loose or irrational.
Yeah, but it wasn't you. You didn't do anything wrong. That's the thing. And the fact is that I forgot what it was you were talking about, that the guy automatically comes out and says, "Well, Rob's full of it. He doesn't know what he's talking." No, that's right. Rob doesn't know how to pick a side, just like Campia doesn't. That was his exact words. So automatically, I'm
pick
like,
my
"Oh
side."
God,
Well, I mean,
automatically, I'm like, "Oh, this guy's going to be a problem."
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Look, I think that pick a side. I think living in America, you have to take into consideration everyone's side.
Exactly.
And where we're at now is this new tribalism. There's always been tribalism here, but now people are looking at it as this us against them mentality. It's we've been hearing it for a decade. Oh, I'm gonna own the libtards. I'm like, I can't even deal with somebody who even uses that terminology. I'm like, first of all, that's an inane way to.
It's an opinion, and like, it's just like I said. Whenever I do a review of something, I go, "Look, this is just my opinion. You can either like it, go with it, or not like it. It's up to you. If you don't like something I don't like, that's fine. And if I like something you don't like, that's fine also. That's how it works."
Well, I mean, also, if anybody were to say to me, this country is a melting pot, and I think that if somebody doesn't want to celebrate a particular holiday, that's their prerogative. This is America. Our forefathers fought and died for the ability for you to not celebrate any holiday you choose to celebrate or not. That's up to you. That's why America is great. And it's when someone like this individual goes and pillories you for your choices, or they're the problem. If you choose,
that's why I laughed it off. When the guy, I'm like, whatever, it's your opinion, whatever. Just don't start making problems in my chat where you start something and it snowballs, and it's only me in the chat as the moderator, and I can't stop it. Then we got a problem, and I don't like that.
Neither do I. I mean, but you do a great job. We're lucky that this channel doesn't have a lot of that going on.
Well, sometimes it does, but I try to get right on the ball with that stuff and nip it in the bud, as they say.
Yeah, and next time somebody says I don't pick a side, just tell people Rob chooses his side.
Well, I tell people, well, the problem is we have that thing we post. If you're talking about something political, keep it on the entertainment topic. If Rob wants to talk about politics, that's up to Rob. That's Rob's choice. But we'd rather you keep it on the entertainment subject, because if you go into politics in the chat, it goes to craziness and it elevates people, and then you got a problem with people fighting about, oh no, my guy's this and my guy's that and this and this and this and that.
Well, that's the thing. People are like on Midnight Musings, for instance. It would be fun to be able to talk politics from a musing standpoint, but because it's no longer politics, it's tribalism, and it's your side against. I mean, I would love to talk to the differences. Love to talk the differences between Democratic and Republican economic policy in regards to a certain thing, and not necessarily with like have a discussion and compare and contrast the two approaches. And the thing is, I think that could be an interesting discussion. Like if you looked at Democratic and Republican policies in relation to supporting the arts, that would be an interesting conversation to have. The problem is, you mentioned Democrats and Republicans and you want to have a discussion about supporting the arts, then you're going to get people that come in that aren't there. It just becomes tribal. They're going to talk about one side against another. And I'd be like, well, okay, let's see what do they believe in? Do they believe in supporting arts programs? And if so, how? From a public
policy. I can't wait for you to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it either.
I'll tell you this, that the brilliant thing about that movie is that when the bomb goes, it's very quiet, and you hear just the breathing of everybody watching the bomb go. And then when you hear the shock or the after effect of it, it makes you jump in your seat. Because you don't expect it, and it's brilliant how they do that. It's
funny.
Like you don't expect that, you know.
I saw I guess a Facebook thread, or maybe it was on Twitter, that somebody was criticizing Oppenheimer because there's no representation for the Japanese people in the movie. And which I'm like, if something doesn't epitomize the modern age, you know, I mean, it's that the movie, from what I understand, it's not about that. I mean, you could do that movie,
right?
But I mean, it doesn't deal with that. Just because Oppenheimer's, the results of that work, you know, Fat Man and Little Boy, obviously were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The movie's not about that. We already know that happened, but you know, it's not like there were Japanese nationals involved with the creation of the atomic bomb at that time in American history. So, but yet there's always somebody who's going to come, well, it should be about that. No, that's a different movie about different concerns. And it's strange to me today, but what can you do?
Good to see you, Tom. Got Ish coming up next. Ish, you should be able to unmute now. Welcome.
What's up, man?
How you doing today?
How are you?
Oh, good. I'm gonna keep it short, Rob. Just wanted to first thank Roberto for hosting this for everybody. So, you know, give everybody a chance to actually get to talk to you and everything. And then, you know, just wanted to congratulate the PGS as a group for just, you know, being who we are and being able to talk to each other.
Well, that's very nice of you to say.
Without, you know, having to argue all the time, where you could have an intelligent conversation with somebody and not have to have the same opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why people can't do that. I mean, when I was growing up, people didn't have the same opinion, nor did anybody. I never expected anybody to have the same opinion. As a matter of fact, part of the reason you want to talk to people is because they think things or know things that you don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Rob, is that people can't analyze difference of opinion anymore.
No,
like they can't see or take somebody else's point of view and kind of, you know, maybe you don't agree with it totally, but you can see why they think that way. You know, they don't want to take that time to try to know anybody like that. They just want people to be in their group and march the same way they march. You know, it's just weird.
Yeah, it is. It's strange. And look, if everybody had the same, like, you know, when you make movies, for instance, it's a perfect example of you bring together a lot of disparate kinds of people that have a lot of knowledge about many different subjects. I was reading a really interesting article about somebody wrote in, I read this on Facebook today, about the strike, the actors and now the writers and actors strike. And they were explaining, like, what is not portrayed in the media is how blue collar Hollywood productions actually are. Yeah. And they very much are. You know, you've got workaday people, you've got electricians, you know, the grip and the grip and electric department, the people that work on set are real workaday people. They're all out of work. Yeah. So the actors and the writers strikes have tremendous effect over the hundreds and hundreds of people that each movie and each TV show needs to work, all the below the line people that are out of work.
Yeah.
So while you want to support the writers and actors, and I certainly do, there's also below them hundreds of production people that are now unwitting participants in a strike that will not affect them at all, other than the fact that they're out of work. Yeah. Their livelihoods are on the line. And so, and that's a lot to ask, though. SAG and the writers are also asking solidarity from all the people that have nothing to do with those unions. And of course, you could say, well, without the actors and without the writers, you don't have anything to make. And that is true as well.
Yeah.
But the production people do not benefit if the writers and the actors get what they're looking for. Their jobs do not change. All the other below the line people on the set, their jobs are exactly the same. They don't make any more money. Well, yeah, because if the actors and the writers get what they want, The grip and electric department on a movie set, they don't get anything new. They don't get any other money. The hair and makeup people, they don't get anything. The camera department, they don't get anything. So you literally have, there's like, if you think about a movie set, let's say just your standard production, there's 75 people that have nothing to do with the actors or writers that are now all out of work times however many, every TV show, every movie. So that's thousands, if not tens of thousands of people worldwide that are affected by this strike that are no longer working. And they don't benefit from the strikes at all. And that's something like, and one of the things that this guy made a point of, like, there are places, for instance, there are restaurants in Burbank that, well, if you're in productions and things like that, you eat as part of the crew. But there's all kinds of byproducts. There's businesses that surround the studios. Even what people forget is there's like what are called expendable companies. There's companies that sell expendables or things like rolls of duct tape. And there's expendable companies that are completely out of work when production shut down too. Their supply chains are affected. The truck drivers that have to bring the grips and the electrics and whatever it is, they don't need to bring the products to the expendables. So there's a ripple effect across the economy of especially Southern California or Atlanta or Toronto or Vancouver or London, that is very detrimental. And that's something that should never be forgotten.
Yeah, you know what, I never thought of all that. You know, that it affects so many other people outside of just the actors and the writers. That's
and it's all the production people. And you know, it's a tough call. And it's also because we live in a world where every business is rapidly changing, not just because of AI, but because of everything. Our consumer habits are different than they were. Our watching and viewing habits are different than they were. And at the same time, and I keep saying this, I keep harping on this, but if you look at the Emmy Award nominated shows, both in the dramatic and comedy categories, those are all of those shows are bangers. They're all incredible. They're all great examples of the very best kind of entertainment. They were all written by great showrunners and the writing staffs. They're acted by great actors. And we live in a golden age of great shows. Great shows.
Yeah.
And so never forget, it all comes from the top. You've got the creators, the writers who create that stuff. You've got the actors. So they definitely are there. And we're living through a golden age of this kind of entertainment. So it's tough.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just saw that we had a member chat, and I always like to get my little 5.
But that's very nice of you to say that about the PGS. I very much appreciate that.
I'm proud to be a part of it. You know, thank you for allowing this.
Well, you make it possible, and it's the least I can do. And I'm trying to. There's going to be more content for members. Like I'm going to start dropping the only reason I haven't finished the first 10 and 20 is because I don't have all the Star Trek episodes. I got to. Darren Dockerman's going to give them all to me because I don't have them in an editable format.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to start putting those up like a couple of days ahead for members.
Yeah.
More of that.
Hey, Roberto, thank you. I'm gonna get out today.
Thank you, Ish. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for your kind words. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get Pedro is coming up next. Pedro Ferreira, you should be able to join us now. Welcome, Pedro.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. What's up, man?
I'm okay. I'm all right. I heard about Tom's problems.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
various people, like it's from various people, and no one's sent death threats so far, but it's emotional manipulation and stuff like that to make you feel really horrible about yourself. And
well, especially in this day and age, you don't know whether you can take people seriously or not, so you just have to take them on their word that when they say things like that, you just assume they mean it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be ever vigilant too. And it's just like, this is a YouTube. This started on a YouTube channel about action figures. I mean, and then it spills over into YouTube channels about movies and TV and stuff like that. And then you wonder, then you see people, you try and come at people from their point of view and see what they're doing. But now you have somebody that clearly unhinged and doing this kind of thing. And then it's disturbing because you ask yourself, well, what is it? What am I expected to do now? How do I handle it? And it's problematic.
It's the thing is when you get mobs of people, and I mean, I had one section of my interview that he had to turn the comments off because the trolls were attacking me in the comments, also attacking him and his followers. So it's, how do you control so many people? I mean, they make out that that I'm guilty of some kind of horrible crime by the way they're acting. So
it's incredibly frustrating.
Just because I'm rooting for a console that might not come out.
Right.
There we go. So
Comic-Con, it's fantastic. I can't wait to get back to it tomorrow. It's going to be so much fun. So I can't wait.
So I mean, it's like there's like so much going on, and then now you've got everything's closed now. So it's interesting because you think, like, what are they with the hype that's going on with Comic-Con and everything in terms of what they're marketing and everything? They're not allowed to film anything new, right? So I'm just wondering how Comic-Con is like because normally Comic-Con promotes new stuff that's coming out, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot still. I mean, people with comic books and books, and there's a lot people can still promote. So it's still happening. Everything's still taking place.
Yes, it's amazing. It's still managed to keep going. It's great.
Yeah. But I mean, Comic-Con didn't start out necessarily promoting movies and TV shows. it became that way, but it's still a comic book convention.
Ultimately,
a pop culture convention.
I thought about going this year, but I only wanted to like get my picture taken with Ernie Hudson, and he wasn't there. He cancelled.
Right.
So because I normally when I go, I normally have at least 2 photos taken with people, but he wasn't there. And I couldn't figure out who else I really wanted to see.
Right.
So the last time I went actually was 2019. I had my picture taken with Val Kilmer and Jenna Coleman.
Oh, okay, cool.
I get some. I always have some interesting stories to tell about when I take pictures with people, like me meeting them and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I almost killed Val Kilmer actually, I think. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. It makes some interesting conversations.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bummer that a lot of people weren't going to get to see who they wanted to see, but it's a necessary, unfortunately, it's where the strike is now. So we have to abide by it. Yeah. And I think to be fair as well, when I see the prices of the like photos and stuff like that, it's gone like bigger and bigger and bigger. It's so pricey, Yeah. No, it really has. And I don't begrudge anybody for making money though, especially now.
Yep.
So.
All right. Sorry for we've had some audio challenges on the last one, so it cut out a little bit on the audio for a few seconds there. Apologies. I continue to experience some technical glitches here, but we'll keep moving. Justin, you should be able to unmute now. Welcome, Justin.
Okay, I'm good.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
Hi. I got some purchases to show off that I got this week.
Oh yeah? What'd you get?
Well, I went to my Barnes and Noble. For one thing, I ended up getting 2 things because the other one I couldn't resist because I'll show you a second. So I got the Renowned Westerns.
That's such a great box set too.
Did you already get it?
I've ordered it, but I haven't got mine yet.
Oh, do you want to see I'll show the inside real quick.
Yeah, it looks huge.
Yeah, it's 4K and Blu-ray, so all 5 movies are in 4K and Blu-ray disc in here, and it's got the nice internal layout.
Western set. Yeah.
Yeah, and the big thick booklet with some essays and credits and everything. So I always love the packaging that these Criterions come in.
They're so good.
So I was originally just gonna get that, but then I saw they had something on the shelf, and I asked, I was like, is that like a 30% off sticker? They're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I did like the math in my head and decided to get it because I have another 10% off with my members card, and I had another $5 off on my card on top of that.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting this big bad boy.
Oh, nice. Well done, sir. As well you should.
It's the Steelbook one.
Yep, the original series, all 3 seasons.
Yeah, I got it for just over $70.
Yeah, that's a steal. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, no, I was really happy. The Steelbooks are nice looking. They got all the various pictures from different episodes.
Yeah, they're great, and you got both versions of the episodes, the remastered versions and the original.
Yeah, that's the other appeal. I was like, it's got both versions on here and lots of special features. I mean, like 3 different cuts of like the cage, the alternate extended cut of Where No Man's Gone Before is on here.
Yep.
I think I've seen that somewhere. I don't know if it's on streaming or not, but yeah, it's like I looked it up. It's like 3 different versions of the cage, 2 different versions. I was like,
well, that's because they couldn't find a lot of the pieces. Like when the cage first came out, they had a version that had black and white in it because they couldn't find the originals. So.
Right. Yeah. So that's cool. And I was like, I gotta get this.
Yeah.
So hopefully someday I'll be able to get the TNG. I want to get the TNG Blu-ray set. Keep my eyes out for it if it drops down to a price where I can.
Yeah, and you can watch all of our special features.
Yeah. I mean, you did all the special features on there. That's one of the reasons I want to get it. It's like I really want to see the extended version of Measure of Man, because that's not on streaming. It's like, it's just, that it's the original, the cut that aired on TV is the only one that's on streaming. So it's like, if I want to see that extended version of the episode, I gotta get that Blu-ray. Gotta get the Blu-ray set.
Right.
So yeah, those are my two big purchases for the week. So
nice. Well, those are definitely two great purchases.
Yeah, I wanted to show them off since no physical media tomorrow. Gotta go back to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to see Mission Impossible yet. Hopefully soon, not this weekend. And eventually Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I've got to see Oppenheimer.
I'm not interested in Barbie. I'm gonna skip at that. That's not my cup of tea. I'm looking forward to seeing Mission Impossible. Or it's everyone seems either like it was good or it was really good. So that's always good to hear. It's like you were like, yeah, it was good, but it could have been better. So it's like, and I've heard that from some people too. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait. So after especially what said last night, can't wait to see it.
And one last thing, also excited about the Babylon 5 complete on Blu-ray. That'll be the remastered episodes that they put out on
which look
Max.
Pretty good. They look pretty good.
Really nice. There's no word on if the old special features are going to be ported over from the old DVDs. That'll be shame.
Yeah.
I may have to hold on to the old DVD sets that I have. So we'll see. But that said, I will let someone here take over. So thanks a lot, Rob. I'll see you later.
Yes, well, it was good to see you, man. Always a pleasure.
Good to see you, Justin. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Stubble McShave coming on up. Welcome, Stubble.
What's up, dude? How long did that Wheel of Time analyzation session go?
What do you think? Give me a
guess. Did it go 8 hours?
No.
More?
It stopped at 11 hours 56 minutes.
Oh my God. Tell the folks at home what that is.
Well, it's I'm called a what do we call it? A hardcore fan freak. I'm a gang of the hardcore fan freaks, and the leader of the hardcore fan freaks have a YouTube channel, and he invited a lot of other YouTubers and content creators, around 30 or so, and we broke down the trailer, and I phoned in and wrote in a little bit on things I discovered, and so we more or less went frame by frame and looked at all the details, and so it took a while. We didn't discover much after hour 10 or so, but that's life.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you optimistic?
It looks better than the first season, so I hope it lives up to it.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I want it to be good.
Yeah.
And I hope that you guys get the best show that you can.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. So first I was wondering, James Gunn is doing the Superman movie in a few years. It will be ready. And how do you think that IP, how healthy is that IP?
Well, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, look, to me, any IP is one great movie or great TV show or one great something or other, one great video game away from being a glorious IP.
Yeah, because I remember when I grew up, I enjoyed Superman. I was a Superman fan and so on from as long as I can remember. But I don't think like a 20-year-old has the same. A normal 20-year-old have the same connection to it that I had. There's certainly
no. I mean, that's another thing we've got. I think a lot of people grow up with animation, but I think that 20-year-olds have grown up in the age of social media.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think anyone, like I've often said, that we live in the post-cinema age. If you're not growing up with an attachment to media, whether it's movies or TV shows, then you're never going to have that attachment. And we live in a world where our entire youth culture is way different than it was 20 years ago or 40 years ago or 60 years ago. It's totally different. And I don't think that anyone, I mean, if you're born in 2000, you're 23 years old. I don't think anyone born in 2000 is the kind of movie fans that we were when we were younger, because, you know, we didn't have the internet at all. Our video games were very primitive in comparison to what they are now. And so movies and TV were the greatest. They were the standard when it came to entertainment. And that just isn't the case. And I think now also another thing that people forget is all of these old IPs, they belong to other generations. Yeah. And every generation wants their own, like, I mean, I hate to say it, I don't think people are aware of this, but Superman was already here. Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, whatever it is, they were already here. And Superman is 80 years old now, you know, and you look at that, and if you're say 12, 13, 14, and you're becoming a teenager, and what would you be looking for? You know, you'd be looking for something that defines you, defines your generation, define what's happening in your life right now.
Yeah.
And I think
there are a lot of people who don't know who Clark Kent is.
No, I think you're right.
They know Superman, but not Clark Kent.
That's why I think that when James Gunn, who's already made things that people love, if you look at his Peacemaker, you look at his The Suicide Squad and his Guardians of the Galaxy movies, especially his Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which I've really liked, I think that James Gunn is going to reinvent the Superman mythos. And when I say reinvent, he's not going to change them. He's going to retain their classical status, but he's also going to give it an entryway and make it modern and make it. And when I say modern, if you look at how James Gunn makes you like a tree or a talking raccoon, it's because he understands that a tree or a talking raccoon can be a classical character that fits in the paradigm of classical storytelling that's thousands of years old. I think that's what James Gunn is going to do. He's going to bring back Superman to Superman's roots and make it our classical, timeless Superman, but at the same time, also make it for today's audiences. That's what I think he's going to do. And everybody, I think people, I mean, the guy, whether Suicide Squad is still a really fun movie to watch. Peacemaker was fun. His low budget movies, Slither and Super, are fun to watch. The movies he's written are fun. I mean, he wrote Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, which is very different than the original, and it works. I think that James Gunn's going to reinvent Superman and if he doesn't, then DC, then Warner Brothers will be out of the superhero business.
Yeah. Anyway, before I'm janked out of here by Roberto, I thought I would bring up a show idea for you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Lay it on me.
You know a couple of writers, right?
I know some. Yes. Yes, yeah. I do.
I thought that it could be a cool idea to have like a brainstorming show where you have a couple of ideas you throw out beforehand you can vote on. And then you have a brainstorming session with the audience, sending a super chat with suggestion. You have to incorporate it, and you have like building a rudimentary story. I think it's
a great idea. The problem with that is, though, that means you'd run into a rights problem with who owns that.
Yeah.
And the people who produce the show would say, well, we own it. But it's a great idea. I think, yeah.
I thought it could be quite engaging for the audience to sort of participate in a way, and at the same time see how a brainstorming session works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be great. I think you're right, but I think it would there would be the rights issue of who owns the final, whatever it is you've come up with, and are you going to make that stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't have anything else on the docket right now. So is there anything you were wondering about?
Well, just, I mean, how's the reading going? Have you gotten any more of Sanderson's books from the Kickstarter yet?
I haven't received the last one yet.
Okay, but do you know when that's coming?
Sometime soon. You know, it takes a while with the shipping and all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as long, I just want to know if the books are good. Yeah, I'm always curious.
I think his series often is better than his standalones, and these are standalones.
Okay.
Yeah. But they are okay, but they are not as good as some of his better books.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to keep us informed.
Right.
Because I'm curious about how they're going to be.
Yeah. Oh, he made a lot of money.
He made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, and he did it on his own terms. So, you know, he didn't have, there's no middleman. And he goes right to his audience, which is pretty amazing.
All right, great to see you, Stubble. Roger,
always
Robertson.
A pleasure, man.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Stubble. Roger is now up. Welcome, Roger.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Rob, how you doing?
How are you doing? How are things in your neck of the woods?
Oh, pretty good. It's warm here in Oklahoma.
No, so hot.
But I was sorry to see about happened to Tom last night. I was in on the chat for a while, but usually you're and Lyle's and RM's dose of tones kind of relaxes me. I thought keeping track with this.
Well, that's good to hear.
For a while. But yeah, I guess that happens. But yeah, I was seeing that I guess Dune's now been pushed back.
Well, I don't know if that's official yet. They're still talking about it. I haven't read an official. Let's see. Is Dune 2 pushed back? I know that they're talking about it. Variety yesterday said they're just saying it's possible, but they're not saying that it's absolutely happening. And they're doing that because they know they need the actors to go on the circuit to support these movies.
Right.
So
and I was thinking, you know, with the trailer that came out for the Marvels, I think it's probably particularly important that they have their press, because I think the interaction between the three characters is going to be pretty important for that movie.
Right.
And showing that in the press tour, I think would probably be pretty influential to how that opens up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But however, it's still costly for the studio. And plus, I really want to see that and Color Purple, which also looks very good. I was really looking forward to seeing that. So who knows when we're going to see those movies?
Yeah, if it can end like September, I think that would be fine for Marvel.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna probably wait and see what's actually going to happen. And I'm curious because I have no clue. I honestly don't have any idea what's going to happen.
So, but I do need to get out and see Oppenheimer, and I ask you, you know, there's like some debate that's coming on about, you know, the overall use of nuclear weapons, and that if, you know, America's use of it was a war crime or not. And I guess, you know, in my life, that discussion was most intense, like during the Vietnam War for some reason. But, you know, to me, everything that I've read, like the bottom line, what they looked at was what would cost the fewest American lives.
Yep.
To be used. But in what I've read and everything, the use of the weapons as they were was really the way to cost the fewest Japanese lives.
No, I mean, look, it was no doubt monstrous what we did. And Monday morning quarterbacking, we put an end to World War II.
But, you know, Tokyo was firebombed a week or two before those weapons. And the lives lost in that firebomb was more than Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined.
Yep. I know.
So we would have just firebombed them back to the Stone Age, and that would have been devastating. It would have been even more devastating to actually invade the place and take it, you know, step inch by inch with an army.
Oh, it would have been a catastrophic loss of life.
And there is hardliners that they were convinced that they could just shed every Japanese life, all 100 million, and it would be worth it in their warped frame of mind.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, it was insane. All of it was insane. We put a very quick end to that war and changed the world forever. Whether, we'll be probably debating that. And we started a Cold War that's been no good for anybody in the long run. But
and now Japan is looked at one of the great economic powers of the world, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been struggling a little lately, and they have like many countries, a population problem. Their aging population is not being replaced by a new young population because people aren't having kids anymore. The birth rate in China, the birth rate in Japan, the birth rate here is precipitously dropping. Interesting.
Yeah. You mentioned a population rate. I watched Soylent Green this morning.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple things. One, that the population in New York was said to be 40 million.
Yep.
And you remember what year that Soylent Green took place in the movie?
2022.
Yes. So that's even been in the past for us now.
Yeah. Go Soylent Green. Blade Runners already happened. Soylent Green already happened.
I think I remember like a Demolition Man. That's going to be like in about 5 or 6 years.
Yep. So we all got to get our seashells ready.
I'm ready for the seashells. That's what I'm looking for. The invention of the toilet paper. What's that? That's 150 years old now.
Which is crazy.
All right. Well, Rob, I'll let you go, but thanks a lot. And
good to see you, Roger. Thanks for coming by.
All right.
And thanks for supporting the channel.
All right.
Thank you, Roger. Hey, I forgot to read a super chat from earlier. Just going to show it quickly here. $2 Canadian from Coming Doctor. Hey, Rob, coming to Fan Expo Toronto next? Question mark.
I am not. I am not coming to Fan Expo Toronto. I've been to a lot of conventions, but I've never been I wouldn't know other than being being a part of the audience. I don't know what I would do. I mean, I'd love to go to Toronto. I've never been to Toronto in my life. I've been to Montreal. I've been to Calgary. I've been to Winnipeg. I've been to Vancouver, but I've never been to Toronto. It's so weird to me.
Yeah,
I'd love to go.
All right, let me see. Yash said he had to step away, but let me double check. Yash, are you back with us? If you turn on your camera, that will let me know if you are here or not. Let's see. Hello, Yash. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip to Kelvin, and then we'll keep Yash on the docket. So, Kelvin Welburn, you are up next. Welcome.
What's up, dude? I read your letter last week on Let's Get Physical Media.
I'm glad you did that. I was worried that I wrote too much.
No, not at all. I can't wait to dip into the show too. The carpetbagger, the carpetbaggers. Sandbaggers.
Cannot to be confused.
Carpetbaggers are different.
Carpetbaggers, of course, with George Papado, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you received it. Did you receive your eating goodies as well?
Oh yeah, and I delved into those. Those are quite good. And I normally don't like any other gummy candies, but German gummy bears. But those were good.
I'm glad you enjoyed them. I'm glad to include them. I just wanted to quickly talk about the strikes that are happening because it's actually impacted here in Australia.
Yeah.
And the writer's strike happened. A TV series based on Metropolis was cancelled, and it cost 700 jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know they were making a series on the movie. I mean,
I know, right?
Nearly 100-year-old movie they're making a TV series. This is amazing. And then you hear, oh, it's been cancelled.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's the problem, and people forget that. And Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
It just goes to prove that the market, the film industry especially, is much more global than it ever used to be. Because I always remember back in 88, 89, when the writer strike that happened then, I actually made 2 series of Mission Impossible here in Australia using old scripts. You know, they got Peter Graves to come out here. So it was, bizarre, but you wouldn't get away with it
No,
now.
not at all.
You know, I also read that Eric Banner's new film that he's got coming, which is a sequel to another film called The Drive too, has been pushed back because he can't do any of the promotional work.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. I mean, the thing that I see is I don't necessarily see they're striking with companies like Warner Brothers is $50 billion in debt. Where are they going to come up with money to pay anybody? I mean, they have to make stuff, but they're $50 billion in debt. And, and everybody wants a fair price. I mean, I just don't know. We don't have the kind of residuals. The business has changed. I think the only way out of it is to give bigger upfront payments and give the writers the time they need to make things that are great.
As opposed to wasting everyone's time, as it seems like now, where they just spit out whatever, I'll use the word shit. They, the script is, it's half written here, go for it.
Yeah.
Should start making the film.
No, 100%. And
they should have scripts locked before they even start filming. So
I totally agree.
Really weird to just start filming stuff.
Let's just do it.
But I was supposed to go and see. I was thinking about going and see Oppenheimer yesterday, but the sessions was full. I was like, it was like sit down the front, and I thought, forget that. I'm not gonna. I hate sitting at the front of the theater. So I just said, we'll wait till next week and see what happens.
Well, we're getting a Star Trek musical episode, so that should make things all better.
We'll do singing and dancing.
Subspace Rhapsody. That's what it's called.
Write a song about Subspace Rhapsody, I'm sure.
I mean, if you guys have not seen it yet, allow me, if I can, to share this great thing. Let me see, can I put it in, or can I put this? Yeah, I can put it in the chat. Let's see, what do I do? Paste. There you go. It's in the chat, so you can all watch it and gaze in wide wonder.
We'll have some excitement and fun. But, there's a couple of releases coming out later in the year. 4K genre land. I see Lips of Blood and Fascination will be appearing from Indicator. So some more goodness coming our way.
There's good stuff, man. That's the one thing. All the great stuff that we're getting from all the different companies, like you said, Indicator.
I saw that there was a report that we're getting like 30,000 discs being released this year of movies that which is like up from previous years enormously amount. I can't remember what those.
Well, look, I never thought I'd see a 4K of Fascination. I never did. No. And the fact that look, what I want is the Living Dead girl. That's my favorite John Roland movie, but Fascination's pretty great. And I never thought we were gonna get all this stuff. Like I've been watching. I couldn't believe I finally got my To Live and Die in L.A. And I know, right? It's absolutely beautiful.
I know the amount of stuff. I'm absolutely surprised at how much good stuff. I see that Imprints got some nice stuff coming up for their October release. I want to get Night of the Eagle, so which is a really good 1962 Peter Wyngarde starring film.
We know that movie as Burn Witch Burn here, and that movie kicks ass. I
So
love.
wonderful black and white photography.
I'm gonna have to buy that indicator because I just want it with the original title card with Night of the Eagle. Although Burn Witch Burn is a great title too, though.
Oh, yes. Very, very explanatory. Because it was based on Conjure Wife, if I remember, it was a book. Or because it already been.
Yeah, Conjure Wife is the book by what is it? Fritz Lieber?
Yeah, I think that's never read the book. Very interesting.
Because that movie's been adapted quite a few times.
Yes, you are correct. Yes, it's a good staple story. Anyway, look, I'll let you go. Sounds like you've got a really busy day today, so I will.
Now I have to go look up. I got to see this cover. There it is, Night of the Eagle. Ooh.
Yep.
Oh, and it's got the Burn Witch Burn artwork on it. Oh man, I got to get that. It's a box set. Oh, come on, double side sleeve. Oh, yeah. This movie is so great. I love this movie.
All right. Thank you so much, Kelvin. Is Yash back? Yash, are you with us? Nope. So we'll continue down the line. Bertsy also requested a skip. So we are going to go to Glenmark. Glenmark, you are able to.
My man.
Welcome, Glenmark.
Doing the time stamping. He's a time stamping madman.
I'll turn on my video in a second. It's weird. I'm looking at all of you guys and your t-shirts and your singlets, and here we are having a dreary day. We've had rain since 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and it's just stopped now. So I'm rugged up.
Well, if it's any consolation, it's 100 degrees here, and it's beautiful.
I'm very happy for you guys. Cool. Yeah, I'm actually time stepping one of my favorite ever Robservations at the moment, Rob.
And what one is that?
That one is Robservations number 853. Do you remember it?
No.
You probably not. It's when you find out it's about Otoy.
Oh, that is a very good episode.
I love that episode. It's my favorite one. So I'm in the middle of time stepping that. And I'm up to the Concord Airport 79 on your Spotify list.
Oh, okay. What do you think of my Spotify list?
Yeah, a lot of them is stuff that I've already favorited. A lot of them. So we have very similar tastes there. There's a couple there that I thought, oh, yeah, that's not really me, but most of it's been really great. But I mean, the eclecticness of it is good, and as you said, it does point people to new movies. That's why I was really rapt to see you put the Tate film on there. I'm thinking about writing a little short letter on his films, because I think he's as I said, it must never be forgotten. He's brilliant in his camera work, and
total master.
It's extraordinary. It's really extraordinary. Now I'm not happy. I went to see where only in theaters where you could stream it, and it said it was on Amazon Prime Video. So I paid for a subscription again, and it's not there. Maybe it's not for New Zealand, available for New Zealand. So that sucks.
Because
I could use that money for food.
Independent movies like that are sometimes not available in various countries because each country is a different region, and you sell your movies to different countries. And Australia is a region unto itself. That's a bummer.
Yeah. So because that would have been that would be really that'd be a really interesting thing. I wanted to get a permission request from you as well. You know how I was telling you I was going to do piloting the pilots, and that my first episode was going to be your most favorite of all things, Dukes of Hazzard. So I just got a couple of lines that I have already recorded, but I guess I better just check with you that it's okay. So I've got one character says, "Well, let's get into this. We have a very important job. Robert Meyer Burnett has said on his show that he will never concede that Dukes of Hazzard is a good show." Oh, he's right, of course, it's not a good show. It's a great show. At least that's how you see it, right, Glenmark? Look, the Dukes of Hazzard is one of the greatest things in my childhood. Rob's mind may not be swayed by the end of this episode, but what he will hear is my experience with the show as a kid. May my enthusiasm work on his like an acid dissolving his cold stone heart.
Well, you're welcome to do that. If you want to do that, please do so, but I'm never going to change my opinion about Dukes of Hazzard. Ever.
You're going to have to watch it.
I'll watch it. Oh, I'll watch it.
Because I thought we had 5 minutes, I just rushed through everything, but I realized we've got a couple more things still a couple more spare moments. My editor got back to me. I think I've already said, it looks like, so my third children's book will be getting published very soon. So that's exciting.
That's very exciting. Where does it get published?
So that's through storyberries.com, but you will be able to find it on amazon.com when it's available.
Well, I can't wait for that. Maybe I'll be able to get it in this country.
Now, because Star Trek was mentioned, I will tell you what my super chat was that you missed yesterday, because you had started talking about Star Trek, and I thought, oh, here we go. How about this? Today's rubbed Star Trek: The Search for Plot 3.
Yeah, that's what Strange New Worlds is in need of. Did I not see that? I thought I said that. Sometimes I read things in my mind and I don't say them out loud.
Yeah, that's okay. No worries. That's all right. And I had fun with the timestamps on the last episode, of course. I think you probably saw those ones, did you?
Oh yeah, they're great. I put them up.
An emotional picture.
Yeah.
And the Wrath of Burnett.
It was great. I love those. I think they're great, and they're helpful. They drive viewers.
Yeah. So how do you find that out? Do you get some kind of algorithm that shows you? How do you know that people are finding it through those timestamps?
Well, because you can see that they just get more views than usual.
Sure.
And when I've put the timestamps on, you can tell that more people are drawn to those videos, that they're seeing them.
Yep.
So,
Well, you've been getting a whole lot of new members to your channel recently too. It's been
which is really good. I mean, it's been good. It's been good putting up new stuff and getting more people to come. I just wish a lot of the great videos that RM does, or that King Tannic does, or that Architects of Imagination would get more views. And I've been trying to, push them out, but I think they'll slowly but surely get more and more views, which is good. So,
yeah.
I mean, it takes a while.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what I've got to realize too with my podcasts. Just keep making content. I hear that usually maybe about 3 months before you sort of start seeing some kind of traction. 3 to 4 months or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Well, before I go, I just want to shout out to Irene Jobson. Hello.
She didn't do anything wrong, did she?
No, I don't think so.
No, because we love Irene. I just am like, did she go too far this time?
No. That's pretty much it. And I should make sure to check out RN's Barbie review as well. I'll go along to that.
Well, they're doing that tomorrow now, right? It's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow. I'm sure RM will update the information on the channel. So good to see you, Glenn Mark. Now let me backtrack again. Yash, are you back with us, Yash, or are you still away from your computer? It does not look like Yash is here. Bert wants to wait out for a little bit longer, so I'm going to jump to Marcus Bisma. Welcome, Marcus.
What's up, man?
Hey, Rob. It's all good, man. So I just saw Oppenheimer. It's amazing. Rob, I want to ask you why it looks amazing on an IMAX. I don't have 70 millimeter theater here, but why don't more directors shot in IMAX?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, it's very cumbersome to shoot. Like, that was not just shot in IMAX. It was shot in IMAX with film. So it's not digitally captured. So, and the IMAX cameras are really, really loud. It's just really difficult to shoot in IMAX. And at the end of the day, there's inherent costs associated with it, and it's cumbersome and it's difficult to work with. So it's not necessarily practical to shoot every movie with IMAX. People like Christopher Nolan and Quentin Tarantino will continue to push that envelope, but that's why it's hard to do that. It's hard to shoot a film, especially a movie so talky, in IMAX. It's really hard.
How about 70 millimeters? Is it the old cameras that you have to use the film?
Yeah, well, here's the thing about 70 millimeter is literally, well, it's 65 millimeter, including the sound, but 70 millimeter film is huge. It's huge. So you can't put as much film in a magazine and if you do put a lot of film in a magazine, the magazine is gigantic and it's heavy and it's cumbersome. And then 70 millimeter, most people can't play 70. The question would be, why not just blow up a 35 millimeter into a 70 millimeter print, which is what they used to do all the time. But to actually shoot in 70 millimeter, what you get is the resolution is much, much higher because the negative it's just bigger. It's like a file size, instead of like in widescreen in 2K is 2048 by 1716 pixels.
Yeah.
And
Rob,
so
I think there's a positive in Hollywood's new IPs. Mario Brothers, Super Mario Bros. Is a new IP, right? Barbie is a new IP. Oppenheimer is a new movie. And they are making money. I hope this is getting back the Hollywood back again, to the original IPs.
But what's going to be really interesting, they're making money this weekend as the result of this Barbenheimer meme thing. Wait until next weekend. Let's see what the drops are. Because obviously Barbie had a monstrously huge opening. Oppenheimer had a very big opening. It blew past all expectations. But it's going to be in the case of these two movies, it's going to be the second weekend, especially for Barbie. If Barbie has a hold, like if you're talking a 50% hold, 52% hold or something, that'll be pretty good. But if it drops by 60 or 70%, that's not so good.
Bro,
So
it's like $70 million on Friday. That's insane.
It's insane. Yeah, it's insane. But it did that because it's not just a movie; it's become a cultural event. So, and which is fine. Whatever supercharges a movie, but let's see if it has staying power. So it'll be interesting to see if it does.
Hey Rob, by the way, there's something I want to ask you for. Well, this is a totally different topic. Okay, is it fine?
Fire away.
What do you make of the UFO sightings? Have you seen some of the interviews with the Navy pilots about the UFO?
Dude, I have. I've been watching them all. I'm obsessed. I've been obsessed with UFOs since I was a kid.
Is it total bullshit, or there's something to it, or there's something in between?
It's so weird because there's so many people that have been talking about this, credible people. To be honest, I don't know. I'll tell you this, like Fox Mulder, I want to believe. But the real question is, I see that there's possibilities here. Like, if you look at like a guy like Bob Lazar, who he's maintained the same story for decades, that he worked at an adjunct of Area 51. He worked on this technology that we don't understand. But even he said in one of his interviews that this was archaeological in nature, that this was something that was dug up and found a long time ago. And they've been trying it. Now, it would not surprise me, living in our universe, which we know so little about, that there was life that crashed here or had been here before or whatever. And the thing is, if they were here 10,000 years ago, we wouldn't have historical records anyway. There's many different paths you could go down. Clearly something is going on. The Australian reporter, and I always forget his name, the Australian reporter that's been reporting on all this, he was being interviewed, and he said that whatever these UAPs are, they have the ability to turn off our nuclear missile silos from a distance. They can literally just turn off our weapons. And they said the French have experienced this, the Indians have experienced this, the Russians have experienced this, we've experienced.
The technology is beyond US military technology, far beyond probably. If it's correct, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, if they're saying it's really interesting. We were talking about this last night on Midnight Musings, but let's assume that it's real, that we have alien technology that we either reverse engineered, or there are extraterrestrials or non-NTIs, call them non-terrestrial entities, that are on this planet and are active. The existence of this would be such a foundational, it would be such a profound change in what humanity knows about the universe, that's why it's probably been kept a secret. Because what would the religions of the world say when confronted with the fact that we have extraterrestrials here on Earth? You know, we can't even get over Republicans and Democrats, but if we had irrefutable proof that there are extraterrestrials on Earth, the ramifications of that to our civilization are so vast as to be almost incomprehensible what that would do to us. Because one of the first questions somebody will ask them is, do you believe in God? And then what if the aliens gave a response that said, not the way you understand any kind of deity? Because our religions are very specific about, my sister will tell you, who's a born-again Christian, you have to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Well, what if we found a civilization that didn't believe in Jesus Christ, didn't know what Jesus Christ was, didn't even have a Savior myth? Then the religions of the world are going to be telling those people that they're damned to hell. And it would be fucking nuts to do that to a more advanced alien civilization, but we would do it. You'd have people going, these are godless heathens, because we don't know any other way. And that's why no one would tell anybody if there are NTIs on Earth, because it would completely screw us up. We'd never recover. I can't even, if aliens landed on the front lawn, like in Surf Man or Day the Earth Stood Still, I can't even fathom how much it would tear this civilization apart. I guess.
Good to see you, Marcus.
But I want to believe, Marcus.
We all want to
Fox
believe.
Mulder that shit. I want to believe. I want to meet aliens before I die.
Speaking of aliens on Earth, what have you thought of the ongoing Secret Invasion series, Rob?
I was just talking on another stream about it. I've liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed watching it, but it's just so one note. There's no peaks and valleys. It's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
And for a dire world-ending threat, it doesn't seem, they haven't cranked up the tension the way I would have expected them to. So I like the show.
I'm kind of bummed that it's getting set up that it's going to be ultimately hubris, what kind of ends the guy, the leader of the evil scrolls or whatever, that it's, ultimately it's going to be his own undoing as opposed to Fury actively doing something to stop the threat.
Yeah.
Like
and if there's a million scrolls on the Earth and they have 45 minutes to figure this shit out, I don't know if we're going to get a satisfying ending.
Exactly. Hey, we are about to reach the top of the second hour here, so we are going to say goodbye to our YouTube friends, but the chat will continue beyond that. So if you are in the chat, we will continue chatting here. Rob, anything you'd like to say before we go?
Well, I just want to say thanks to all the channel members. There's more than ever before. We have these. Please come. You're all invited.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be more stuff on the channel for members, peeks at the new videos that are coming up. We also have the new panel show, which I'm trying to get launched by next week, but I forgot about Comic-Con, so it sort of derailed my plans. But maybe next week. So yeah, but I thank you all for your patronage and support, it means a lot, which is great. And it's nice to see the community growing. I just wish there were more, not that I don't love all your faces, but there's been so many people that have become members of the channel. I feel they're like missing out.
Yeah.
By not coming to these chats. Come to the member chats. We always have a good time.
We always have a good time.
And you can't hear Mike Alito live to talk about how great to live and die in LA is, which you better be talking about in 5 minutes or 2 minutes, because that's what I want to hear.
We will hear about that soon. And if you want to hear about it, then you got to become a member and join the Zoom call. So we'll see.
Or you can follow Mike Alito live on Twitter.
That is
because
true.
He's doing some cool movie reviews and stuff.
Yep.
So follow Mike Alito on Twitter.
Please do.
Give him a follow.
Right. Goodbye, everybody on YouTube. Everybody in the Zoom chat. Don't sign off. We will continue. We'll see you later.